A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to films I should have talked about years ago. So in this particular instance, I've talked quite a bit about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Detective Comics Extended Universe, the legendary Monsterverse, and the Michael Bay-verse of Transformers films. But now comes a very rare situation, where we finally have ourselves something different. Bloodshot. Yeah. It was released in last March. Not super long ago, actually. I certainly remember this. Trying to watch this. But as soon as I got to the theater, well, the doors closed because of the pandemic. As soon as I got out to the theater, I noticed one of my bosses out there closing the doors, announcing to everyone who was trying to come in that they were going to be shutting down because of the pandemic and everything else that had been happening. Rightfully so. I will go as far as to say that this is something that I was really looking forward to watching because of how many positive things I've heard about the whole thing itself. But I will at least go out and say that this is something that I was eventually able to watch not that long ago in more recent times. As far as I know about this one, this is yet another one of those rare situations where another type of comic industry responsible for creating at least something that's popular actually goes in to create a film adaptation, live action based, that is, based on one of the characters. Bloodshot, of course, is played by the one and only Vin Diesel, the same old guy who's been a part of the Fast and Furious, the Iron Giant, Guardians of the Galaxy. Quite a big resume to work with. So for Bloodshot, being another one of the more recent cases of Vin Diesel's film career, we certainly have expected to see a whole lot of things going around with it. But yet, I might as well go ahead and talk about the character Bloodshot himself. As you might know, if you're a big fan of Valiant Comics, then you might remember that in 1992, the character Bloodshot was basically written and inspired by a variety of different people out there working in the industry. And the character has certainly managed to quirk up quite a lot of popularity, resulting in Valiant Comics to be as big of a competitor as many others. It's certainly not like Marvel or DC, but Valiant Comics really does have a lot of good share of different stories to work with. Throughout the past 20 to 30 years, the character Bloodshot has not had so much good attention going forward. But yet here we are. It got as far as to having a film adaptation last year, and yet it does not do so well. But it's only because of the fact that, well, it just was not necessarily as good of a film as we hoped it would. Yes, I'm going to be looking on here again for that. So, 30% Rotten Tomatoes, 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb, and 44% on Metacritic. So that only means that it was not as good of a film as we probably would have hoped for. And I myself knowingly watched the film myself, and yet I can almost feel the same exact way. I will at least go ahead to clarify that they had some amazing ideas going for it. And wouldn't you know that they're actually going to be going ahead and making a sequel? Yeah, Bloodshot 2. Who would have thought that this film would have gotten so much significance like that? But yet, I feel like that it's not surprising because so many other films out there that are already pretty terrible happen to have sequels of all sorts. So it just seems like that's never going to end. I guess I don't really have much else to talk about Bloodshot right here because, well, what can I talk about? The hero being immune to gunfire, bombs, and the like. That's almost like Superman level stuff. But yet, this is not Superman at all. This guy is not naturally bulletproof, but Bloodshot was in fact a Marine who ended up getting killed at some point, but was then eventually reincarnated with a specialized nanotechnology that completely heals Vin Diesel in seconds. So, in an instant, even from an explosion, Diesel's entire body can be mended back together. Like the Iron Giant. Huh. I don't know if there's significance between those. But why would I want to compare both of them when one of them is amazing and one of them is not so good? So, you know what? If I want to give this one a score, well, it's a bit tough for me. 4.8 out of 10. 4.8. I guess it's pretty good. I don't know what you'd think about it, but anyways, that's going to be it for right now. I'm not going to go very far on a lot of other things like this, but don't worry. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about something else that's a bit recent. Not very, but somewhat recent. But it is actually good. So good. So, get ready for it. Tomorrow morning. If you want to see more go down on my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.